beauties.
Look, we've been usurped by young Harry here.
I'm OK with it.
I think
I'm
we're both
okay
fine
with
with it. Just giving me a little stroke. Our next guest, Kerry Irving, became a viral sensation during lockdown with his beloved dog, Max. Their daily Lake District walks offered comfort for countless others around the world, and in the process, they managed to raise almost £1 million for charity.
However, in 2022, Max sadly passed away at the age of 14, but his legacy lives on. Kerry's fundraising continues. We've been talking about dogs at the break. These other spaniels. Carry on. You read.
Yes, so the three that he's invited with him today, Harry, Tally and Paddy. Kerry's written another book, Forever Max, which is celebrating his much-loved, much-missed dog. Kerry, it's lovely to see you.
Good morning, thank you.
I mean, the reason that Kat's getting upset is because the idea of losing a dog, and you lost a dog, and you still think about all the time. I was lucky enough to interview you, during lockdown, and we were talking about the impact that you and Max had for lots of people who were struggling at the time. But let's go back a bit further and just explain to anybody who didn't know your story the impact that Max had on you to start with. Where were you when you first met him?
I was in a road traffic accident, and my vehicle was hit by a truck, and I was always like this outdoorsy type person, cycling, walking and things, and suddenly that was taken away from me and couldn't get outside and really struggled. And I think the hardest part was that my friends stopped calling because you're just sat at home and nobody, you lose that kind of support network, which was really hard to go through in that time. And I was diagnosed with depression, a really bad depression. And basically for 2 years I was sort of housebound and on a lot of serious medication. And really struggled. And, you know, my life, as I thought, was going to be over, and was looking at ways of how I could actually take my life. Because I just couldn't get out of bed, I didn't want to get out of bed, I didn't want to eat, I didn't want to sleep, I didn't want to shower, I didn't want to see people, I didn't want to be seen. And then one day, my wife sent me out for pints of milk. I think she'd had enough of me and decided that it was time to do something. And I went out begrudgingly and very self-consciously on my own, and met this little dog 200-300 metres away from our house in a garden, and I just sat and looked at him and kind of realised that I was saved. That was it. Sticking
his nose through the fence at you, essentially.
Just came up and snuffled up to me and just looked at me, and I looked at him, and I thought, you know, my life is pretty bad, and we're not going to cry, are we, Cam? We're not going to cry.
No, I'm definitely not going to do that.
And from that moment, my life changed, because it gave me a purpose every day to go back and see him, to get out of bed, to walk out of the front door and go and see this little dog.
And it continued, didn't it?
It continued, yeah, and it grew, and I finally got to take him out for a walk for the very first time. And went and walked about 50 metres, which was my limit, sat on a wall and told this little dog, who was called Max, how bad my life really was. And he just sort of leaned against me, looked at me and said, I'm here for you. Tell me the worst. And I did.
And then the family, Max's family, were going to move. And so they asked you, they said, look, we're a bit time short. Can you help us? Can Max come and live with you?
Yeah, it was really fortunate. I'll be ever grateful for them, because I think they knew the importance of Max in my life. I don't think they knew the full story behind it, but they knew that the bond I had with Max and where that was going. So I was eternally grateful that Max came to live with me, and that basically changed my life forever.
What was that moment like when you realised he was coming home?
It was perfect, because it was the anxiety, the stress, the worry all disappeared. And I suddenly had this dog beside me that was basically helping me every day to get stronger, fitter and healthier, mind and body.
So you started going on these walks. Max started helping you heal mentally and physically, but then you started sharing the walks, which is how we came to chat to you. Because all of a sudden, there was this explosion of people that wanted to meet Max, that wanted to go on the walks. I mean, how did you cope with this sudden influx of interest in this extraordinary dog?
I struggled with the people at first, because, you know, I used to hide behind my dogs, and I guess I still do. But we invited a group of people to come on a charity walk. I thought that was the easiest way to get people to come on a charity walk. We could raise money for charity, they could meet Max. And that's how it kind of started, and then that sort of snowballed through the Facebook page, and it's just grown from there, you know. We went on to ITV's Top 100 Dogs, And that's where I told my story about having depression and how Max had helped me. And that just opened up doorways, you know, thousands of emails, thousands of messages of people who were going through the same thing and saying how brave I was to do it. But I think it was Max that was the brave one.
Yeah.
We're not going to cry. We're not crying. We will cry.
Yeah, we do. Yeah,
they're good tears.
They are. They're happy tears. They're all good memories, and that's the beauty of it, is it's all good memories.
And then you wrote the book, which became a bestseller.
Yeah, that was, it was HarperCollins that pushed me to do that. It wasn't my idea, and I turned them down twice.
Did you?
Because I didn't think my story was interesting. And we wrote the story, and it was quite an eye-opening book about my childhood, and then obviously meeting Max and the changes that we made, all the way to going down to Buckingham Palace. You know,
yes.
which is crazy, you know, absolutely crazy.
Amazing.
We were presented to William and Kate, and at the time then I think we'd raised something like £92,000. And it, you know, and from then on, it's just gone.
Well, it's nearly £1 million now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've got the new book.
Forever Max.
Yeah, that was a hard one to write. It was a struggle, but it starts off meeting William and Kate again in Keswick, in our hometown, and it covers all the little chapters of our lives where we all have this opportunity to find magic, and it's up to us if we want to take that opportunity. And I took it, and we've met so many people in the beginning of the book who become our best friends at the end of the book. And obviously the chapters of what we've done and who we've helped.
And there's a little bronze statue of him as well, isn't there?
Yeah, there is.
Beautiful statue in Hope Park in Keswick of Max looking towards his favourite hill, which was Cat Bells.
Just look
And yeah, it's a place where people can go and sit and just remember this little dog who's helped so many people.
It's magic. The whole thing's magic, isn't it?
Yes, and it comes from somewhere very special.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today.
No, thank you. Thank
he
you
is
very
an
much.
absolutely noble beast.
You can see the difference having these dogs. I mean, Buddy is going to make a difference in somebody's lives, but you can see the difference that your dogs and Max certainly made to lots of people's lives and touched so many people around the world. Thank you, Kerry. It's great.
Thank you, Kerry. Thank you very much.